And welcome back, everyone, after a very exciting game one between 100 Weebs and C2. I'm Random Minion Caster, and casting alongside me for game two as well is Aderant Luna.
Hey, how's it going?
It's been going great. That was such a back and forth game one. It was epic to watch. And as we go into the picks and bans here for game two, they're being really quick about it. C2 banning out on the blue side, banning out the Jax, the Rakan, and Wukong. So they've changed up all their bans here, definitely targeted at all the things Weebs played. Ajax's Ajax, the Rakan there for Sharp Otter, and the Wukong for Kappa Crusader. On the side of 100 Weebs, they're going to stick with their bans, the Ornn, the Thresh, and the Ash ban for round one here.
So I mean, is C2 just gonna ban the comp from the last game? Because I mean that is an option, but I mean you're also not like paying respect to anything else they might have in their pocket.
Yeah, but I guess after a loss in game one, this is a best of five. They do have the time to experiment, so I guess they just gotta ban everything that didn't work for them in game one. Mix it up a lot and see what happens here. And C2 gonna pick a Varus first pick in that bot lane there, and Weaves instant replying with a Leona Draven. And I do believe this will be the first time we're seeing WWE on that Draven in Coalition League here.
That's a very interesting pick. That's a very both bot lanes are though I would hate going against either of those bot lanes. Oh man, this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, typical of the Tom Kench Varus to keep Varus safe here. And then C2 gonna go with the Amumu jungle to round up their picks in the first round here of picks and bans. And 100 Weep's gonna go with the Rumble, it looks like, that got banned out from them last game. So now it's open. They changed up all their bans. Puffin can very well go on to that Rumble. And one thing to note is Ajax also does play that Rumble, so it could potentially be flexed to the top lane as well.
That is true. That is very true. Um, I'm I'm really curious where that's going to go. There's Silas ban.
Yeah, the
Mm,
first ban from 100 Weeks to Silas. I mean, if they're already picking the Rumble for Puffin, they don't want to leave that Silas out for Todd. It gave a lot of grief last game, but that means they will leave Akali or LeBlanc up from their bans last game. So it looks like they think the Silas is a bigger problem. And we see the Gragas ban coming out once more, targeted at Kappa Crusader there. I believe it's his most played jungler as well. So even though they haven't seen it, they don't ever want to see it.
that's a good call. It's a respectful play.
And it's going to be the Azir ban from 100 Weebs. Now, Todd has played Azir, did play it last week in week 5 there. But his Azir, not as lane dominant as some of his other champions, but an absolute monster in team fight. So they just want to make sure that C2 doesn't get a good, solid team fighting comp, especially since they already have the makings of one with the Amumu there and the Varus. And then we do see the last ban coming up from C2, gonna be that Kane. So a lot of bans targeted at Kappa Crusader this game.
Yeah. The last three bans from C2 at Cap Crusader. Um. Ooh. Okay.
A Pantheon pick for 100 Weebs. This is new, and the question is, where's it gonna go? Top lane or jungle? C2 gonna reply with a Darius band here, and then a Corki pick for the mid lane. So a very mixed composition here from C2.
Yeah. It's like it definitely has a good balance of physical and magic damage, so it's going to be hard to build against it. Uh, that's a Pantheon jungle.
Yep, Yorick getting locked in for 100 Weeps as their last pick here. So that will be a Yorick in the top lane for Ajax against XX Wolf's Darius. Going to be a Pantheon in the jungle for Kappa Crusader against Amumu. Very interesting champion pool here from Kappa Crusader. Quite unlike most of the junglers here in the league thus far. And Puffin going to get his signature rumble here into Todd's Corki. And I'm not sure how this particular matchup is going to play out. Thoughts, Luna?
Yeah, it's I'm not sure. Like, I feel like C2 is probably going to do a 1-3-1 with their core being the Tom Kench, Varus, and Amumu. or they do a 4-1 with Darius just split pushing, and then 100 Weaves is probably going to be I would say it's going to be a 1-4 with Yorick being in the side lane, just because like the team fight from 100 Weaves, that is horrifying. A solar flare into a rumble ult. Pantheon has Grand Skyfall to also set up for either the Leona, or Leona can set up for Pantheon. And then, I mean, Draven is just straightforward. It's just damage. He's got a little bit of CC in there, but I mean, the burst from a Draven, even after just one full item, can be devastating.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like both teams, neither of them really wanting to go all in on one particular type of composition here. There's makings of a little bit of different things. As you said, 100 Weeb's getting really good pick potential with the Pantheon Leona, but they also have the makings of a bit of an AoE composition with the Solar Flare and Rumble Equalizer and the Yorick walls to lock people in. And they also have just the straight split push of a Pantheon and a Yorick as well. On the side of C2s, like you said, the core of Varus, Tahm Kench, and a Mumu would like team fights, would like a front to back fight, but then you get a Darius and a Corki. Corki wants to poke, Varus wants to poke, so you've got a bit of mixed here. So definitely I think this game will come down a lot to execution from both teams and who can pull off their compositions better here, because very flexible compositions from both teams.
Yeah, I think the one edge that C2 might have is being able to. They have two ways of having a better range engage, because they have the Verisol that can start a team fight, and then they can have Mumu come in after that. They can use Tom to flank really easily with the Tom ult, or just to disengage depending on what they need. Uh, the Darius will probably just, like I said, be in a side lane on his own, because he doesn't really fit too well into their team fight comp. But I mean, if he's able to, get a couple of spins in there for the bleed damage, pop a few ults, I mean, Darius will ain't anything to shake a finger at.
Yeah, definitely here. And what has me interested is this top lane matchup between XX Wolf and Ajax here. Ajax does get the counter pick and did counter pick Darius using the Yorick here. And we already saw what happened last game in the solo matchup between XX Wolf and Ajax, where Ajax took a lead and ran away with it. So I'm not sure this is going to go better for XX Wolf this game. While meantime, in the mid lane, we have Puffin on his Rumble here, getting counterpicked by Todd on his Corki. So I do expect Todd to win his lane this time, a lot with less help perhaps from Wild Goose Chase. And I'm just, very interested to see how this will play out with the counterpicks this game compared to last game.
It's going to be interesting to see whether or not Kappa gives more priority to helping out Puffin in the mid lane, just because we've seen what can happen if Puffin gets ahead on Rumble. If he gets ahead on Rumble, that can be a game ender, that in itself.
Yeah, and the bot lane too. We haven't really talked much about the bot lane, but I mean, you've got a Draven Leona bot lane. That tells me one thing: they want to kill people repeatedly. And on the other side, you've got Tahm Kench, Varus, one of the longer range ADCs, and with a Tahm Kench, a very safe ADC. So certainly the bot lane this game might actually have much more of an impact. Last game, in the early phases of the game, we didn't see much impact from either bot lane, but both ADCs, Doidoi and Spenlau, doing work in the late game, both having the most gold respectively on their teams.
Yeah, I do think that C2 has a little bit more of an edge in the bot lane right now, just because it can be predictable where Draven's axes are going to land. So Varus can just aim a Q where Draven's going to go, and that will either prevent Draven from going for the axe, or he's going to have to take damage.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing to mention with Draven is that there's been a new build going around too for Draven recently. I believe it's called the Chinese Draven, where it goes mana immune and it has, and basically it's a lethality build Draven, which does very well in the 1v1s and in the early. So yeah, very interesting to see which way do opts to go this game. Because if he goes early, they have an extremely strong early game and mid game team, though they would fall off late.
That's interesting. I haven't seen any Dravens in any of the games I've played recently myself, so I'm curious to see what this if that's the build that he's going to go for. I'm curious as to how that's going to play out in this, especially because of like I mean C2 they're going to be building a lot of health, but maybe not necessarily so much armor. So that lethality might come into huge play.
Yeah, definitely here. And with that being said, we'll go into a short intermission break here as both teams load on to the Rift. And I'm very, very excited to watch this game too. If it's anything like game one. We'll see you guys soon.
Shining like it's neon, rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shoot, yeah, shoot, yeah, shoot, yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars, shooting stars, shooting stars, shooting stars. Didn't even get to bronze. I said I'm moving too far. Get to bronze.
And we're loaded now back onto Summer's Rift with C2 on the blue side here and 100 weeps on the red side this game. And we're getting 100 weeps this time with some skin synergy here between their bot lane. Not so much on the side of C2. It looks like it's just red side skin synergy both these games. And 100 weeps once again pinging for the invade. They're going to group as 5, this time looking to invade the bot side of the map. They do have the Leona and Pantheon, so they will have CC level 1. There is a ward dropped by C2 into the tri-bush there, so should be able to spot out any invade from the side of 100 Weebs.
Yeah, this is it's I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like this play a lot. Like coming from blue side, I think it's okay, but all five going from red side is like you said, it's a little harder to pull off. It's already warded. They're already gonna know, and I mean, again,
Minions have
they're
spawned.
giving up vision opportunities on their own top part of the jungle.
Yeah, and it looks like they're fully committing to this. You do see 3 members of C2 going to ward the red buff here of 100 Weaves. In fact, they're probably going to go start it up. Wild Goose Chase and XX Wolf here both going to actually go in there. But it looks like no Wild Goose Chase, not quite certain whether he wants to do it or not. Will decide to as he sees Ajax walking through that mid lane. Will know that Kappa Crusader is not going to be starting his top side. And Ajax going to go check out that red buff there. Will see that it's being taken, but he's just going to walk right on by. He's not even going to stop to check that bush. He knows better than to do that. He's just going to walk right out, and we'll reach the lane around the same time as XX Wolf.
All right, so we're going to be having a bit of a vertical jungle this game. Interesting, not something you would commonly see at this elo.
No, but certainly will happen in organized play when both teams are aware of what is going on here. And we do see bot side, Kappa Crusader did take the Wolves there, or the Raptors, sorry, before he headed back into his own jungle to take the blue buff, whereas Wild Goose Chase only took the red buff, did not stop to take Raptors on the way out. So that will put Kappa Crusader a little ahead in terms of jungle there, but it's a question of whether he can get ganks off and bring that influence into the lanes. Bot lane, we do see Dewey and Sharp Otter, as expected, already aggressively pushing in. They are the stronger bot lane early, and they did hit level 2 first, so they're abusing that fact for now.
Yeah, although that can also kind of backfire on them, just because, you know, Pantheon still.
And
Oh
speaking
no!
of backfire, Wolf hits level 3 before Ajax gets level 2. And we see the damage he can put down. He flashes in, trades flashes with Ajax, but he gets first blood. This is the opposite of what we saw game 1.
Are we seeing blue side advantage in this series?
It's
Question
looking
mark?
a bit like it right now. We'll have to see how things go on, but that is very surprising considering that Ajax got the counter pick actually into that top lane, did so well the first game, and then feeds first blood like that. He's down a ton of CS. Did have to burn teleport early to get back in lane, or would have lost an entire wave and a half in the top lane there.
Yeah, like you said, XX Wolf, he just got level 3 first, and that just gave him just the edge, I think.
It was level 3 to level 1. You have to be wondering what on earth happened that zoned Ajax out that far. And we see a gank coming down from Kappa Crusader. Beautiful cleanse from Spenlau. And will be able to survive that. The flash coming out of Sharp Otter as well to get the stun earlier. But Dewey taking a bunch of damage. He took cleanse too. Both ADCs taking cleanse. So neither of them have heal for these fights. We'll have to be careful there.
Yeah, that was definitely a good attempt by Kappa Crusader for that gank. Oh no.
Oh,
Really
now
gotta be
Dewey
careful.
has to dodge his next arrow. Flashes, dodges the arrow, but gets hit by the auto attack. Now the ignite coming down onto Spenlau, but it's too little, too late. Spenlau will be able to get himself out to safety. Now Sharp Otter, the one has to be careful. About to be swallowed by Sustain. Going to take poke from Spenlau. The slow comes down, the stun comes down. That's a double kill over to Spenlau. 3-0 at 4 minutes and a half here for C2.
Yeah, Dilly definitely getting way too aggressive early on, especially with not having heal as an option. He just stabbed himself in the foot.
Yeah, and that was just absolutely brutal there. I mean, you understand why he took the cleanse, but mid lane, Puffin going hard on Todd. Will pick him up with the ignite there. So Puffin doing work for his team, keeping them in the game, putting 100 Weaves on the scoreboard. Now 3-1 the score. And again, surprising, Todd counterpicked or chose Corki as a counterpick into Rumble, ends up dying in the 1v1.
What? Are we in the Twilight Zone? Buddy? What? Hello? What is going on?
Yeah, so not exactly, strictly speaking, a blue side advantage, considering Puffin managed to turn the fight there. Now we are seeing pings come down onto the Dragon there. Mountain Drake, the first Drake to start off this game. It was the Drake to end Drake's last game, but this time it's going to be the starter Drake. Not really that beneficial early. Mountain Drake, but will scale later into the game as players get more and more resistances and armor there.
Right. I do think that Mountain would be more beneficial for 100 Weaves because they're probably going to be building, having builds that have more armor in their builds. But we'll definitely have to see. I think Leona will probably be the most beneficial out of it just because of her W.
Yeah, potentially, and we do see both teams, the junglers and bot lanes, looking at this Drake there. 100 Weaves was spotted out roaming up, so they will know that they're there. And we do see Puffin coming down as well. They might try and brute force this. There is a vision ward in the bush there. And I think both teams are aware of it. Sharp Otter going to clear it out there. The rest of them are going to go on to that dragon here. And now potentially Sustain getting caught out here, stepped out a little bit too far, but a little bit too far against a Leona is way too far. The CC she can put down, the rest of the team can follow up, will ensure that he goes down, and that means that 100 Weaves will have a man advantage on this first Drake of the game, as well as giving a kill over to Kappa Crusader to help them get back into the game.
Right, and a very, very wise choice by 100 Weaves to pull the dragon out some, just to try to prevent any steals.
Definitely, and they did have the vision ward in there as well, so they knew that there was no vision in there. Varus also having used his Q poke earlier will not have it available for a steal. One thing I want to notice, Puppet left lane earlier and is still even up a little bit in CS to Todd in the mid lane. And bot lane, same thing. Joey Doey's up a ton of CS despite going down. He's about 20 CS up despite giving up 2 kills over to Spenlau there.
Yeah, that might in itself just be the game changer, is whoever can CS better.
Yeah, because we saw last game, Spenlau did not have the highest kill share on his team, but certainly had the highest gold, and almost all of that was off CS and killing the right people, getting their bounties there. But if we take a look at the top lane here between Ajax and XX Wolf, Ajax down in farm right now, about almost 20 CS, resorting to taking Scuttle there, but does manage to take it. He is still down a level as compared to XX Wolf, so we'll find it hard to CS in that lane, but he did manage to steal the Scuttle. Wild Goose Chase there, now showing up, realizing it's gone. If he does want to take this Herald, it will be in vision, so 100 we will be aware that they're on Herald right now. Pumpin hitting out, he does have the Equalizer available and ready, and we see Sharp Otter also roaming out. Kappa Crusader doesn't have a Grand Skyfall available yet, but will not need it, as just the threat of Puffin showing up has forced XX Wolf and Wild Goose Chase to back off.
Yeah, definitely good call by C2. You gotta respect it. Just, I don't know, I'm curious as to who's going to go for it next. Whether it's going to be C2 making another attempt, or if they're going to wait before they can get picked on either Ajax or Puffin before they go secure the Rift.
Yeah, last game, Captain Crusader had a chokehold on those objectives in the early game, only giving them up when they lost team fights. But other than that, yeah, they had a stranglehold on those. So we'll see if Kappa continues his dominance in the objective department there. And Mumu not the greatest 1v1er, so if it comes to 1v1 duel, Kappa will be able to get ahead. And Sharp Otter, again, roaming really early, has left the bot lane for quite a long time now. Is still even with Sustain in levels, but probably down some experience here. Really doing a good job to continue farming 1v2 and keeping his CS lead.
You know, I'm kind of curious if Sharp Otter is roaming intentionally there to help the wave reset in favor of 100 Weaves so that they can get a better breeze, or just because they know that they push the wave so aggressively that he can afford to roam and then get back and have the wave set back up for a potential gank or something.
Could very well be both, but one thing to note, Sharp Otter decided to go Merc Treads this game rather than the more typical Moby boots. Usually boots of mobility, the choice for Leonis, especially if they're going to be roaming. So his roams right now will cost him a little more, as he won't have that movement speed buff when out of combat. Now Puffin potentially getting ganked. We see the flash coming out, Wild Goose Chase, but he misses the bandage toss. And now Ajax flashing, trying to get a wall, getting him in that little cage there, fails to get him in the cage. and that will be flash blown from Wild Goose Chase and Ajax, and we do see a teleport coming out of XX Wolf as well, but he's late to the party. Everybody's already gone, but they might now look at Herald. They're all in the area for it, and Kappa's on the other side of the map, but with that Grand Skyfall, you never really know how far out of range Pantheon is. He's actually gotten used into the bot lane. We do see the Solar Flare coming out, the damage coming on Sustain. Sustain taking a ton of damage, will go down, but it's Spenlau now. The next target will get picked up, but will trade over Sharp Otter. So that's a 2-for-1, and they're going to give up Herald for this.
Yeah, they give up Herald. They might still get quite a few plates though. That was a very good gank, and good on Sharp Otter to make sure that he's the one tanking the turret instead of either Kappa or Dilly.
Yeah, definitely. That traded his life for 2, a worthwhile trade for sure. But Kappa Crusader, his Grand Skyfall's going to be down for the next little while here. And Sustain just using the Tahm Kench ultimate to get themselves back to lane a little faster here. Will work out really well for themselves actually, because that wave was just balanced out. It wasn't shoved all the way in, so they'll be able to shove this wave into turret before Dilly can get back. And once again, Sharp Otter on the road.
Yep. And we got the next dragon coming up soon, and it's going to be Infernal. So that leaves the Soul being either an option between Cloud or Ocean. Now, if I'm 100 Weaves, I'm hoping it's Cloud.
And Kappa just running right past Sustain there. He's got eyes only for Spenlau, but he gets swallowed up by Sustain, and now Sharp Otter gonna also try and see if he can pick up Spenlau. They get the Solar Flare, but Dewey's not quite in range yet, and Wild Goose Chase is. Dewey's fighting around with Puffin. The Equalizer comes down, and it's making this fight horrifically unequal. They managed to pick up a 2-for-0. Puffin managing to pick up Sustain there, while Spenlau going over to Kappa Crusader. He's now 4-0-1, and that will give them free access to the second Drake of the game, the Infernal Drake.
Yeah, and what the positioning of that Equalizer from Puffin was that was just beautiful. Because not only did it zone them out, but it's just like if they step in just the wrong spot, they take the damage from Equalizer and get slowed.
They were definitely stuck between a wall and a hot place right there with that Equalizer. They had nowhere to go, and even devouring Spenlau didn't keep him alive for much longer, but at least Wild Goose Chase managed to disengage and get himself to safety there. And from what originally was a 3-0 start, 100 Weaves have pulled themselves back into the lead. 6-4 the score right now, and they've got both Drakes. They're continuing their neutral objective dominance. Did give up the first Herald of the game though, but it hasn't been placed down yet. Wild Goose Chase still holding on to that Eye of the Herald.
Yeah, and meanwhile in the top lane, Ajax he's been able to come back. Like, he's only down like 14 farm. He's only died just the one time earlier, and previously we just saw that he forced Wolf out of
going
play.
aggressively in. Wild Goose Chase dropped the Herald bot, but the Herald doesn't matter. It's kills in the eyes of 100 Weaves right now. Sharp Otter getting a beautiful Solar Flare onto Wild Goose Chase to follow up with the Grand Skyfall from Kappa Crusader, and they managed to pick 2. That's Wild Goose Chase going down and Spenlau. The Herald does manage to take quite a lot of damage. I think they didn't even get the plates there, because plating just went down right before Herald hit. So they just got damage, and now 100 Weaves going to turn around and do just as much damage, if not taking the turret outright in the bot lane there. That will be first tower going over to 100 Weaves.
Yeah, that was very impressive by Kappa. Take notes, people. This guy, he's got a deep pool. Don't try to just outban him. Like, that might be the downfall for C2 if they try to do that again.
Yeah, definitely. And that kill in the bot lane was actually a massive, massive kill, especially for Dewey, because that's a Draven, and he's cashed in those stacks. Before this, he was 0-1-4. Didn't have any kills, so couldn't cash in the stacks, but now he does. Top lane, Ajax, it looks like he's coming back a little bit. He's at least even in experience now, and the CS gap has not grown at all. So managing to come back into the game here a little bit in that top lane. Look at gold differentials, only about 200 gold up for XX Wolf, so not hugely significant, but in the jungle, my goodness, that's 1,600 gold difference matched again in the mid lane. So C2 has lost control of their mid lane, mid diff duels there. They won't be able to control much in that middle. And in the bot lane, 100 Weeps up about 800 gold on the ADC, about 300 on the supports. that might not sound that big a deal until you realize that Dilly's picked up a Bloodthirster and Berserker's Greave compared to just the later for linking on-site spin now.
Yeah, that is absolutely... The Hunter Weebs, they are definitely a lot farther ahead than one might think that they are.
Yeah,
And I mean, the 5-0 on a Pantheon, like that is... It's rare that you want that many kills on just your jungler, but I mean, if it's a Pantheon who can get anywhere and put out that much damage, I would be all for it.
Yeah,
Like,
Pantheon
for sure.
falls off normally, but when he's 5-0 and 2 at 60 minutes in the game, he's not worried about falling off. He's worried about falling onto people and killing them. And we do see Dilly and Sharp Otter being rotated into the top lane here, but it's not the right choice. It looks like it's Valgushtes and Todd force a gank and get the kill. A good flash from Valgushtes will allow him to land the Amumu ultimate and follow up, and Todd with the Valkyrie and package will manage to kill Dilly there. They had rotated up the bot lane, looks like, for priority on Herald, but with this, they've lost priority, as now it's going to be a 4v5 if they try and go for it.
Yep. And, I mean, they did get the kill on Dilly, but thankfully for the case of 100 Weebs, Dilly didn't have a very large bounty. So it is a kill on him, and it keeps him out of lane for a little bit, but he doesn't necessarily give over too terribly much by dying there.
Yeah, and it looked like C2 opted to try and take that outer top lane turret, but Kappa managing to keep it alive. It will be a little low, but it's still standing, and C2 won't be able to get the Herald off of that. Dragon will also be coming up in about 45 seconds here, so there could potentially be another trade in objectives. We'll have to see what the teams want to get, Drake or Herald.
Right, and this time around it's going to be Ocean Soul, which that is going to be massive for C2, having the Tom Kent.
Yeah, it'd be massive for everyone for sure, but yeah, as you said, the Tom Kent regeneration, the poke coming down from Spenlau and Todd would also mean that they're constantly topped up if they can get a hold of that soul, but it looks like 100 Weebs is going to prioritize this dragon. It's coming out in 10 seconds and 100 Weebs is there. Ajax the only one not there, but he has teleport. He does have teleport available and has teleport advantage. No one on the side of C2 has teleport available. Todd opting to go exhaust this game rather than the teleport, so only XX will have in this teleport that's already been used and still on cooldown here.
That's very interesting, opting for the exhaust, especially when you know that you counter Rumble.
Yeah, perhaps it's taking for the team utility, but either way, Ocean Drake will go down to 100 Weebs, and now XX Wolf going to have to be careful. He's pushed up really far, and the Weebs are ready to go. They're all grouped up here, and they will be able to protect their mid lane turret. C2 won't be able to get much damage at all on that mid lane outer turret here.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, Ajax took the top outer turret, not being contested at all. C2's definitely got to get their heads back on straight and figure out what they need to do to come back in this. Because right now, they're just giving up leads like crazy.
Yeah, and speaking of giving up leads, they're giving up Herald right now as 100 Weeks has completely collapsed. So C2 looking at not even going to try and contest it. They're still sieging this mid lane into Puffin here, and Puffin hasn't even had to use the equalizer to clear the wave. He's just managed to safely clear it here. Sharp Otter and Sustain walking next to each other as besties here. And the Grand Skyfall comes down. Wild Goose Chase now deep in, but they're just going to ignore Wild Goose Chase in favor of taking Spenlau. The equalizer still hasn't come down. It's mid. They're pushing on the turret. Finally, it comes down. Lots of damage. They pick up XX Wolf. They almost pick up Sustain. And it's going to be Todd now left alone in the middle of 3. Sharp Otter is going deep. He does not want to give this up. Is he going to get Wild Goose Chase? No, he will not. And Ajax is not going to will not be able to follow up and take that either. But they will be able to get that outer turret at least. So that's going to be a 1-for-2 trade and a turret there in favor of 100 Weeks.
Yeah, and possibly a second turret because Dilly is still healthy. His team's a little hurt, but I mean, all of C2 has back here, they are all well below half health.
Yeah, but looks like Dilly gonna go for the red buff instead. The whole team very focused on neutral, on objectives, neutral or otherwise here. And Dilly looking like he's just gonna go back and spend his hard-earned gold. He's sitting on 2,200 gold here, so we'll have a pretty penny to spend. Ajax also sitting on just below 2,000 gold, and Ajax might have been behind earlier, but he's certainly back in the game now.
for sure. And I really like the commitment from Kappa to just be like, if you're carried, he does not get to see the light of day. Just diving him head first.
Yeah, Spenlau 3, 4, and 0 still has been able to contribute and pick up kills in the fight, but my goodness, Kappa literally just walked right through the enemy team to reach Spenlau there. And you could see the hesitation. They weren't even sure what on earth Kappa was doing there. Sharp Otter too, also committing very heavily to the engage. They're basically leaving Dilly unattended. He's got 0 peel, but so far, to be fair, he's hardly needed the peel this game. And now Todd potentially going to get caught out here. Sharp Otter going in, will land the stun, the auto attack, the Zenith Blade to pull up, and the Solar Flare. That's going to be a 5-second CC lockdown. Ajax has now arrived. Todd doing a lot of damage on to Sharp Otter, but will be enough to kill him? No, will not. Instead, Sharp Otter will instead get the kill, denying it from Ajax. Meanwhile, we also see 1v1s happening in the jungle. Or that was more like a 2v1, but Puffin didn't quite reach in time. Kappa versus Wild Goose Chase, and Kappa takes down Wild Goose Chase. He's 7-0-2 to Goose Chase's 0-2-2 right now. There's a huge gap in the jungle, and it shows anytime Kappa can catch Wild Goose Chase alone.
See, now, I thought Pantheon was supposed to be a juggernaut, not an assassin. What is going on here?
Rido, please balance or please nerf, and Shelly's now been dropped in the mid lane. They are going for that mid lane tier 2. They won't quite be able to take it. They didn't have minions to take it with, but instead they will get it extremely low, and they get the top turret instead as Ajax continuing his split push. This man's a monster. Both games now, he's just left split pushing unattended.
Right, it's like I was saying, you know, they're either going to go for the 1-4 or the 1-3-1, and either way, Ajax is going to be your guy for 100 weeks.
Yeah, 100 weeks has so many threats right now. Ajax is split pushing. Puffin's only 2-0-4. Well, I say only, but the man has got 150 gold bounty. But his equalizers have been on point. Kappa Crusader 7-0-2, 700 gold bounty. Draven in the bot lane has about 1,400 gold lead as well. The team overall has a 5,000 gold lead at 22 minutes. If you're C2 right now, what are you looking at to get back into the game?
Well, right now, it's definitely Wild Goose not being where his team needs him to be. He has not been able to get in there and set up the dream team fight that they're looking for. So, if a fight does break out, they need Wild Goose to be there and get that huge. Other than that, they just have to try to not fight when they can avoid it. Like, right here, Wolf trying to get out. It's like,
and it looks like he will be able to. Ajax turning around for some reason. His maiden can't quite catch up without him. And XX Wolf looks like he will be able to get out to safety somehow there. And meanwhile, in the bot lane, a fight's breaking out over Dragon. Wild Goose Chase finally gets that 4-man ultimate you were talking about. We see the teleport coming up from Ajax into the back line. They do pick up Kappa Crusader, so he's going to be down. But now Spenlau is getting hunted once again. Everybody on 100 We've just wanting to kill this man repeatedly. And Sustain went down in that fight as well. So it's already a 2-for-1, about to become a 3-for-1 if Ajax gets that last bonk down, and he does. That's going to be a 3-for-1 in favor of 100 Weeks. They pick up Ocean Drake. They have Ocean Soul now.
yeah, this game is... At this point, it's 100 Weeks' game to lose. Like, I mean, they already have Soul. It's only a 24-minute game, much faster game pace than the previous game. At this point, I'm not entirely certain that C2 can make the comeback unless Weeps has, like, they would have to make a very costly throw. Like, I think the best chance for C2 right now would be to win a team fight right in front of Baron and then steal Baron.
Yeah, that is certainly a possibility here. Baron is still available and on the table here. And just one thing to note also is that Kappa Crusader had a 700 gold bounty. Speaking of that, Kappa getting caught in the enemy jungle will have to flash to get himself to safety there. And he did have a huge bounty on him, which I do believe went over to Todd. So Todd getting a bit more gold, a bit more items, has completed his Manamune, as well as having the Triforce. So his poke at least will hurt quite a bit for now.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a very large boom for C2. But again, it's just like, I'm not sure if that'll be enough. It's like, yeah, you got the one kill, but I mean, so far, if it's not Kappa, it's either Ajax or Dilly Dilly or Puppets. Almost anyone on can just delete Spinlow.
Yeah, all of them just chasing him down. Now XX Wolf down to 40% without even touching Ajax at all, and they're trying to get a gank. Sustain bringing in Wild Goose Chase trying to catch him, but they aren't close enough. Will not be able to catch Ajax. That's 4 people sent bot lane. Nobody at Baron, and 100 Weaves knows it. We see the Grand Skyfall as Kappa is going for that Baron, and C2, they know it's being done. We see the teleport coming down from XX Wolf now. We see the rest of the team coming in, but will they get there in time? Baron's down to 3,000. The equalizer comes out to dissuade the rest of the team coming down, and 100 Week will pick up the Baron, but can they survive the aftermath? The Solar Flare comes down, but it won't be enough to stop them. We see Kappa Crusader first one to go down, but Puffin doing tons of damage will pick up Wild Goose Chase. And Dewey's, those axes, so much damage. They pick up XX Wolf as well. Sustain going down now. That's 4 for 2, and meanwhile, Ajax is split pushing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, again, he's just like, you guys, you go do your own thing. I'm gonna just go get these over here. You don't need me. It's fine. I mean, this could be the game-ending push right here.
Yeah, it could very well be. And now Spenlau getting trapped in with Ajax. Ajax two-shot him.
Oh no.
You gotta feel bad for Spenlau this game. I mean, the poor guy's just been smashed non-stop, and it wasn't even like he lost his lane in the 2v2. It was just everybody was roaming down bot lane. I mean, it was rather reminiscent of what we saw in the last game where they were 4-man ganking Dewey and Sharp Otter, but this time it's 4-man ganks on Spenlau, and the rest of his team, unfortunately, not able to pick up the slack when he's getting 4-man ganked in the bot lane. That's going to be inhibitors down in the mid and bot lane for 100 Weeks. They're ballooning their lead. They're 10k up now at 27.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's very impressive. And, I mean, they don't have, there's not a neutral objective for another 2 minutes, roughly. So right now, all anyone can do is just get a little farm in. If you're 100 Weeks, you're probably just going to go top, maybe send Ajax somewhere to help push those waves in. And, I mean, if you're C2 right now, you just need to be defending what you can. And just, like, if you're C2, you do not go past the river. Hell, you might not even go past your inner turrets or the remnants of their inner turrets, just because like they barely have any vision out. It's a very dangerous world for them right now.
Definitely, and I don't think they have a choice about getting past the mid of the map and the river. Pardon me. There are supers pushing in the mid and bot right now, and 100 Weaves are going for that last inhibitor in the top lane. They still have, or Baron just wore out. Pardon me. Just gonna say they have vestiges of Baron, but. Oh, sorry, no. Oh, Kappa died, that's why he didn't have the buff. But, yeah, it looks like 100 Weeb still has the vestiges of Baron, so they can still potentially get this inhibitor if they just group up, and they're going for it here. Ajax continuing his split push in the bot lane with the minions. And, yeah, even if they don't get it on this push, Elder is going to be coming up in 1 minute. I don't think 100 Weeb loses any fight at this point. They get in equal numbers.
Yeah, it's, again, it's 100 Weeb's game to lose.
Yeah, definitely. And it just, you can just see Ajax split pushing for days and what they can do. And that allows the team once again to just take everything on this top side. They will get the inhibitor turret. And I don't see them not being able to get this inhibitor. They get that as well. The Solar Flare coming out. It's on Spenlau. The equalizer comes out and Spenlau's dead once again. Puffin 6-0-7. Dominating. Hasn't died a single time. Sharp Otter going down again, but for a good cause. They're gonna get the ace. Todd's desperately trying to run away. Are they gonna dive this? One more axe. Is it enough? No, it's not. Todd will be able to barely survive. They won't get the ace, but they will get the Nexus instead. Just under 30 minutes, the time for this game 2 between 100 Weaves and C2. 10-24, the final score here. A much faster paced game than the game 1 we just watched.
Yeah, that was insane by 100 Weebs. Very impressive play. Huge showing for Puffin. Puffin definitely showing why you do not let this man have Rumble. Like you said, he went 7-0-8. And he was counter, and he still won his lane.
Yeah, I mean, we had some doubts about the Yorick Darius, especially after the early first blood, but Ajax came back into it, and we saw why it was a counter there. He half-health XX Wolf without even taking a single auto or a single iota of damage from XX Wolf here. So it was incredibly one-sided once he started to get a hit, and Kappa Crusader putting on a clinic last game. At one point he was, I believe, 0-1-9 on the Wukong, but this game he was out for blood. 7-2-7, by far the biggest early game presence on his team. He was omnipresent on the map, and that was before he got Grand Skyfall. Once he did get Grand Skyfall, it was just a mess on the side of the C2. They couldn't do anything at all. And after a game like this, you got to wonder, game 3, how is C2's mental going to be? Are they going to be able to recover? And what on earth are they going to ban?
That's definitely the question of the day. At this point, if you're C2, you're probably looking to try to see if you can contain Ajax, just because that's been a very big help in having 100 Weaves win. They have not been able to deal with Ajax. They weren't able to stop his Jax. They were almost able to stop Yorick, but they weren't able to keep Yorick under their thumb. And that ended up leading to their downfall, because while C2 is busy fighting everyone else and trying to get objectives, and they're unfortunately losing, then they also have Yorick, who's just getting free wave, free turrets, and just getting fed without having to fight anyone.
Yeah, definitely there, Luna. And they might have to just focus ban Ajax. We'll have to see what they did, because they did change their bans between games drastically before. And, they're, as some people in the chat have been saying, C2's drafts have been a little odd these last 2 games. Like, they're not all inning on any one thing. They're going for more balanced composition, but perhaps they should look at all inning one way or another. And with that, we are going to head into another intermission break before we set up for game 3 here. So we'll see you guys soon, and hopefully this game 3 will be the mark of a comeback, because not that I'm against 100 Weebs, but I would love to see a game 5. So we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes.